Monani. Thank you for tuning in to Life Coaching with Usis Yolanda. Guys, I know that it is past the 2 weeks that I had promised you over the last session that we had. But guys, things have gotten quite hectic, right? This is a busy 2025 and I'm just trying to embrace everything. When you live for purpose, when you start living for a purpose, there are just opportunities that you don't want to deny yourself. That having been said, I've recently joined Umzi FM, which is a local radio station. So I did my first show there. I had the debut, was it? I think like 2 weeks ago. So what I'm going to do is that from the shows that I'm doing, those topics that I'll be sharing on that platform, I think I will use this as an opportunity just to kind of expand, and discuss things in more detail that aren't covered on the show. And what happens there is that I've got guests that are going to come. I will be interviewing. So I think I would love you guys to catch those as well when they do come out. For now, I've agreed only to avail myself once a month, but hopefully somewhere along the line I'll find enough time in my busy schedule to at least have a woman's show which will be featured once every week. But for now, guys, it's still February, it's still the month of love, right before we get into March. The topic that was on Umzi FM was on intimacy, right? So we actually had a guest where we looked at intimacy on a sexual level, right? Looking at the way in which we interact, and it really focused on a woman and the social expectations, societal expectations around women, where they feel, that they need to give a little extra in relationships, because by virtue of being a woman, right, naturally we are known as the givers, we are known as the nurturers. So women would tend to be more likely to sacrifice their needs or to put other person's needs before theirs. And the beauty in the guest that we had on that show was a very strong, beautiful woman who showed us that it doesn't need to be that way. Yes, that is a societal expectation. Yes, maybe culturally that's what was right and accepted back then. But now we're living in a new era. Women are able beings. We're able to think for ourselves. We've got our own decisions. We have autonomy over, our bodies, right? That's the one thing that we have. That's the one thing that we can embrace. So when we look at intimacy and what is intimacy? Intimacy is basically, the closeness or the connectedness that a person has with somebody else. I know that we're talking about it on a sexual level, and I think still within this session, I want to really just expand on that. But it can be like a physical relationship, an intellectual relationship. It doesn't have to be boyfriend, girlfriend, or within, like a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend type of relationship, or if you are in a whatever kind of relationship, let me put it that way, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be restricted to that. But for the purpose of, what I'm talking about today, I actually want us to still focus on relationships, particularly looking at women and the decisions that we sometimes make. Sometimes we just do things, right? And then we just accept things as a norm. We don't question things, it's how it is, this is how it's going to be, and we continue life as such. And I think, for me, raising a teenage daughter, I'm a little bit more, cautious about, the things that I do. I'm a bit aware of the decisions that I make. I would like to think, from a young age, I've been, on that type of intellectual level, where I'm able to distinguish right and wrong. But when you're young, we also learn through making mistakes. I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't go through stages that any other young girl would have gone through. And I think that's why such topics are so important for us who have gone through things, who have matured enough to look back and, be able to reflect so that we can help, a younger generation. And what I like about this topic is as well that it's not only applicable to a younger generation, but when we talk about having autonomy over, like your body, that involves your mature lady as well, and we're not excluding males at all in this conversation, because I think these are conversations that we actually need to be having with our male counterparts as well. So let's get right into it, guys. This session is going to be a little bit different than the other ones that we had previously. We're not going to have little slides. This is just really, really, really just a conversation. This is just me trying to reach out to somebody, whoever it is. I'm just hoping that somebody's going to have, something that they can take away from this session, right? So this need, right, for connectedness, this need to be able to be close to somebody, like what is that? Where does that stem from? Guys, it's simple. We are human. The mere fact that you are a human means that you cannot live outside of your environment. You cannot live without, our counterparts, right? We are beings that need other beings. They are needed for our survival. We need our habitat. We need our environment. We also need people around us, right? So the need for belonging is just like a natural, I would say it's like a natural thing that we have within us, right? But I also feel that we've somehow lost, ourselves in the process of trying to fit in with this environment or adapt within this, humanity, this sense of being a human, this sense of feeling a need to be part of, right? So when it comes to relationships, right, I think it's very important that a person, before you engage in any kind of relationship, right, is that you need to know who you are. We previously had a topic on the importance on maintaining the self, maintaining yourself and being true to your identity. So once again, we see it coming up now, because for you to enter somebody else's life, remember that person's got a different background, that person's got a different way of thinking, a way of doing things, different sets of values, right? Because you get your values, you get, your religious beliefs from where you come from, right? So the person that you are going to meet and have a relationship is not coming from your household, right? It's somebody coming from a totally different background. So how do you put these two people together to have a union, right? To form a unit where you have like a relationship. So once again, it's important that you know who you are, you know what you want, so that you can bring something to the relationship. Should you fail to do this, it means that you are entering into somebody else's world and you are allowing yourself to be now consumed in this person's world. You're letting go of yourself, right? In order to fit into this person's ideology of what is expected within a relationship. You lose your power to negotiate, say for sexual practices, for instance. You lose the power to voice your opinion about anything, whatever this person goes, or what this person says rather must go, which is very unhealthy. That is actually a toxic relationship. So it's very important that as we are raising children, those of us who have children, that we instill it from a young age. Let your children have an opinion. We're not necessarily going to agree with our children. They're still young. They're still vulnerable. They haven't, gone through life and experienced as much as we have. That is fine. We're just there to basically guide and to basically lay a foundation, right? But by the time you start or you enter a relationship, that stuff is supposed to be established already. You're not trying to find your foundation or start laying a foundation of who you are. It's too late. it's too late. By that time, you are in an abusive relationship. It could be sexually abusive, it's verbally abusive, it could be emotionally abusive, where you accept things or things are done to you because you are vulnerable, simply because you have never really gotten to know yourself. You have never really gotten to establish boundaries around you of what you know you deserve, what you know you want in your life. Once you love yourself, you know how the feeling of love is. Once you've been loved, you know how it feels. You know that love is not supposed to hurt. You know that love is not supposed to isolate. Right enough, love does have seasons because people go through things. There's no such thing also as a perfect relationship. So we shouldn't go around looking for that. Look, we fight with our siblings. We might have disagreements even with the very parents that, birthed us. That's normal because we are different beings. You've got your own mind. You've got your own ways in which you believe things should happen. So disagreements are there, and those things will happen within relationships as well. But I think the point that I'm trying to bring across is where you feel that you have lost your sense of being, you've lost your sense of identity, right? So ladies, let's just think about this, right? Taking or going back to the interviewee that I had on my show, where she said, look, she's been abstinent for 18 years, right? So it's not to say that she's never been in a relationship. She tried it out. It didn't work for her. And in her case, a lot of it contributes to the traumatic childhood that she had, where she doesn't necessarily trust in a relationship or doesn't want herself to be swallowed in a relationship with a male, right? So those kind of things happened because we must remember that, the decisions that we make are somehow also shaped or embedded in what we have been exposed to when we were younger. But, I sat there and I was thinking, oh my goodness, would I ever be in a position, to actually sit back and look, I'm going to be me for 8 years. I never knew that it's something that could even be possible without really, not even once did something happen where she's like, okay, fine, it was a mistake. She has stood her ground. And what I want to take from that conversation is to bring about, or to kind of emphasize the power that we have within ourselves, to be owners of our own bodies, right? Let's be owners. Let's take ownership. Let's take responsibility. Let's take accountability in molding and shaping, the person that we want to be. For her, for instance, right? She doesn't want any energy, external energy that is going to come and interfere in her life. She feels that she's stress-free. She feels that, everybody's got stress, but, relationship stress where she's wondering, what is this person doing? Is this person going to hurt me? Is this person lying to me? Is this person truthful? There's no expectation other than what she owes herself. And so for those of us who are in relationships, how do we navigate? How do we still have control over our bodies even though we are in relationships? And it's quite simple. This is not one of those easier said than done things. It might sound like it, but really, if we have that solid foundation of really loving yourself and knowing what your worth is, because they say that we invite, whatever energy you are projecting is what you invite into your life. So if you're, for instance, a little girl who's vulnerable, who's been through it in life, it's almost as if, the counterpart, this person that is going to come into your life and damage your life is that very person who's been, looking at your vulnerabilities, and they feed into those vulnerabilities. When you think about it, hey, it's quite sick. what type of person are you that is really, going to go to that extent? You are entering that person's life to hurt that person. You've got no intention of building a future with this person. You've got no intention of truly loving this person, but you know that this person is vulnerable. You know that this person is going to agree to everything that you're putting out there. Guys, it's fine for us to, say, yeah, man, this, or whoever this, but what sense of accountability, are we kind of taking back and say, look, but I had a choice, I had a part to play in this. Had I not A, B, C, D, I think we need, to get back, to that point where we're able to go to the drawing board, and instead of, blaming an external source for mishaps that have happened in our lives, for breakups that were in our lives, to ask, okay, but fine, right? I invited this person into my life. What is it about me that this person, saw? What invited this person into my life to a point where this person could have felt that it is okay to hurt me? It is okay to violate me. It is okay to play with my vulnerability, right? So once again, it goes back to what I said earlier, in that if you love yourself, you know how you take care of yourself. You know how soft and gentle you are to yourself. You know how you talk to yourself when you look in the mirror. You look at all the angles. You know which angle is your best angle. I know when I take pictures, which angle? I don't know, but when I take pictures, I always have this one particular angle that I prefer when I'm taking my selfies, because, I know my body, I know my angles, I know, which side is going to make me look pretty or make me look comfortable. We need not to allow somebody else to make those rules for us. Nobody's going to tell me that the best part of my body is my right side or my left side. No, that's not for you to decide. That's me. That's for me to decide. It should be to a point where, somebody tells you that you look beautiful, that it doesn't, give you a false sense of hope, that, oh, wow, this person, or you construe that and you misunderstand it for somebody saying that, he loves you or she loves you. This person might be seeing that you're so vulnerable, that you're such in a dark place. You don't see your value. You don't see your worth. And they use those kind of words. They use, that kind of approach to kind of tap into you so that they can get inside of you, right? So now we're not going to walk around, like being tough and having walls around us, right? That's not what I'm saying, right? Well, especially for a person who is in a relationship that's trying to still grow within the relationship. If you're looking for love, more especially, you don't want to be a person who's got this wall up. All I'm saying is that let your mind be in the right place, so that when you are in a relationship, you don't feel violated in any kind of way. You don't feel that you have to give up your body before you are ready. Guys, look, life is not a one size fits all type of approach. But for instance, say now there's a situation, you're still dating, you're a young person, this guy's taking you out, you've never been on a date, and then he invites you to his apartment afterwards. We can just think what's going to happen at the apartment. It's just the two of you in there. Now look, to give up your body before you are ready. Guys, look, life is not a one size fits all type of approach. But for instance, say now there's a situation, you're still dating, you're a young person, this guy's taking you out, you've never been on a date, and then he invites you to his apartment afterwards. We can just think what's going to happen at the apartment. It's just the two of you in there. Now look, there was this fancy dinner, are you in a position to say, you know what, no, I think it's a bit early, this is a first date? Are you in a position where you know that if you were to leave with this person, you trust yourself enough, you trust this person enough that nothing's going to happen, that you are not ready, for it to happen, right? But sometimes, people find themselves in situations where they're so vulnerable that in a situation like that, you agree to maybe, okay, fine, let's go back to the apartment. You don't really want to, but then you feel like, this guy has just spent money on me. This guy has just bought me supper. So what? So what? Your body should be much more than whatever champagne was bought. Your body should be much more than whatever steak, was bought, right? And remember, when you enter a relationship, right, everything that you do, right? Because remember, I said, you are your person. This person is whoever he is or she is. So you guys are coming together. You're kind of learning from each other, who you are, who this person is. So whatever cues that you give as well, this person's going to be taking on your lead as well. So it's very important that if you need to set boundaries, that you set those boundaries. Guys, I just want to emphasize again that there have been situations, there are people who say, look, after first date, things went whatever and things are fine for them. That's okay for that person. And I'm not here to also kind of say like what you should do, what you should not do. What I am trying to convey today is that whatever you do, make sure that your mind is in the right place. Don't ever feel that you have a decision that is enforced on you because of a certain external whatever. No, everything must come from within you, right? When you make your own decisions, when you're in the right place, even if things go south, you just take it as a lesson. You don't beat yourself up really asking like, why was I so stupid? How could I have not seen, And another thing with that, guys, a person can talk for ages on this topic, but really, I really wish that my young ladies are listening. There's also something else that we need to be, a bit cautious of in terms of how we love ourselves and how we want to be treated and how we value ourselves. Look, for instance, if a guy's going to come to you or a girl comes to you telling you like, look, I'm in a relationship, but I want to chill with you. I want to kick it with you. These are the words that these young people are using. Look, if you agree to something like that, right? For instance, a situation like that where this person has been upfront with their intentions and you still agree to it. In the topic that I had, right, in the introduction, I mentioned how intimacy for women generally is a bit different than how our male counterparts, perceive it. For women, the act of intimacy, it really hits us hard. It's like a connection, right? We feel a sense of belonging. It's like an attachment. So you might go into the relationship, thinking, you know what, I'm not going to take this seriously. I'm just in it for the fun. Look, after 2, 3 fun episodes, it always happens, guys. Attachment. You start getting attached to this person who clearly told you what their intentions were from the beginning, right? So now because you've given yourself, right, body, your spirit, given yourself to somebody, in the physical realm, a person must understand that it's also a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual attachment that you are now giving to this person, right? You are handing yourself over to this person in that act. And within that act, right, when you are busy, it feels for you that you guys are connecting, right? Now, your mind is not in the same mind place as what this person is. This person knows what their intention is. They told you they're fine, they're cool. So their mind is where their mind is. But now here in that act. And within that act, right, when you are busy, it feels for you that you guys are connecting, right? Now, your mind is not in the same mind place as what this person is. This person knows what their intention is. They told you they're fine, they're cool. So their mind is where their mind is. But now here you are starting to have feelings for this person. Then you start doing crazy things. Then you start having crazy expectations, and then you start getting hurt. Then I ask, why do we do this to ourselves? Why can't we, as women more especially, protect ourselves? Why don't we protect ourselves a bit more from hurt in situations that we really can? Look, I understand that we're not going to have control over everything. Life doesn't have like a manual where, you're being told if you do this, this is going to be the outcome. We don't have any guarantees. Nobody has a guarantee. Even if you enter a relationship, you could be in the best relationship 5 years down the line, 10 years, 15 people get divorced after 25 years. So life happens. Things, happen. But there are certain things that we should be at a point where we really thinking more openly about them, and we're really applying our minds before we allow our bodies to be, objects of this thing called intimacy, all in the name of trying to find a connection, of trying to find love, of trying to solidify, a relationship. And my thing is that if a person really, values you, if a person really loves you, that person is going to respect you. If you say you need 3 months, a person who's really persistent, that person's going 3 years. I know it sounds like I'm being very silly right now, but that's just the reality of the matter. That's just how it is, and I know that sometimes, we don't want to hear the truth, but that is the truth. If you are not ready, don't force yourself to be ready for anything. Allow yourself time to get to know yourself, get to know this person. And here's another thing. We rush so much sometimes into situations that you get into a relationship, for an example, 6 months down the line, if not quicker or sooner, you realize that this guy is married. But because life was so fast, the restaurants, the hotels, you go back telling your friends, oh, my friend, do you know, we went to this beautiful B&B, we went to this beautiful hotel. Hello. That could easily be a red flag. That whole hotel thing could easily be a red flag. Like, why aren't we going back to your place? Why haven't I met your people? And those things we don't ask. Like, why don't I know your friends? Okay, sometimes you do know the friends, but that's a story for a different day. That's a story for another day, But, just in general, because if we move too fast, we don't give ourselves enough time to apply our minds and to really look at the situation for what it is instead of what we want it to be. So, ladies, it is within you to love yourself, to value yourself, to set the boundaries that you want for yourself, to create your own rules around intimacy, meaning how close you want to be with somebody. It is up to you to kind of lay, the foundation of the relationship in terms of what is acceptable for you, what you don't like, what you do like. Once again, this is not something that is like a rule book for love, but I just really once again feel that some things happen to us as women that possibly could have been prevented, or that I just really once again feel that some things happen to us as women that possibly could have been prevented, or that might not have necessarily hurt us or traumatized us to the extent that it might have been. So guys, that is it. Sorry. So it's really, like a pep talk. I think it's just really a pep talk, reaching out to ladies and claiming back ownership over our lives. This applies, like I said, to anybody who's in a relationship. And don't think that if you are married that you don't have, any say in terms of when you want to do what. Oh yes you do. Oh yes you do. That's your body. That's your body. You have a proper conversation with your partner. You let that person understand, him, her. You let your partner understand that, look, I'm not feeling okay right now. I'm a bit stressed at work, or I'm a bit stressed with family matters. Is it okay? Yeah, today's just not a good day for me. Speak. Don't do something that you don't want to do, because then you even lose the enjoyment of it all. Young ones, look at your partners, study your partners before you jump into anything major. You can't take back something like a sexual encounter. It's happened. It can't be reversed, right? So yeah, let us just look at those things going forward, guys. I can't wait until we have our next topic, and I hope that you've learned a thing or two today. I am waiting to hear your thoughts. Thank you, guys. Next time.